We're going to get competitive, aren't we? It always happens. Oh, you started quick.
3,000 meters altitude. This is it. She's do or die.
Oh my God, it's getting hard.
400 meters to go. I still haven't given up. All or nothing.
Alpe du Zwift, one of the most famous climbs that can be ridden in the virtual world. Tough enough on its own, but for us, today, it's about to get a lot tougher.
Yeah, we've come to London, to the Altitude Centre, because we want to find out how hard one of the toughest climbs on Zwift can get when ridden at high elevation. And I've challenged Alex to a race, except this time, we're starting at 2,000 meters elevation and finishing at 3,000, the highest either of us have ever been.
But that's not all, because we've got a nice little added bonus where we're going to ride Alpe du Zwift at 5,565 meters, the height of the highest paved road in the world.
Why? Because we can. And we actually want to find out if it is possible.
Whoa, it's going to be tough. It's time to get high, mate.
It is. Well, I'm already high.
Oh, you are? Yeah.
So here we are in the altitude chamber where our very own oxygen-deprived experiments will take place. This room has the capacity to go to 6,500 meters of elevation. That's 21,000 feet, which is pretty nuts. Basically, we have our very own customizable mountain right here in London.
And it's where we're going to be riding Zwift, quite literally going up into the clouds.
Today, we want to show you just how hard that might get, and also get the unique experience of riding Alpe du Zwift with the elevation gradually increasing as if you're on the mountain itself. So right now, we're standing at 2,000 meters of elevation. That's basically what you get if you're in Medellin in Colombia, maybe sipping a coffee in a cafe. Nice. But that elevation is going to increase. It's going to go to 3,000 meters by the time we get to the top of Alpe du Zwift.
And then for a real sting in the tail, we're going to have the elevation jacked right up to 5,565 meters, the height of the highest paved road in the world. Samala in southern Tibet, a mountain in the Himalayas, a place where some car engines will struggle to continue running, and certainly far higher than Conor and I have ever been.
Yeah, and let's get a poll going in the GCN app to see what all you guys think. Are we going to make it up to Alpe du Zwift on the highest tarmac road in the world? Get voting now. We make it the whole way up, maybe get 8 kilometers, maybe get it past the 2 kilometer mark.
Hopefully.
We won't even make it a kilometer. Ooh. Anyway, first, you get our kit on, Alex.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, right, Alex, it's time for our effort at altitude. We're here at 2,000 meters, so already pretty high to start Alpe du Zwift. And things are going to ramp up from here. We're going all the way to 3,000 meters. So it's as if we're actually riding the climb in real life and feeling the effects.
I'm intrigued to see how this is, yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty brutal.
It is.
But we did do some efforts at sea level to
Yeah.
get some base mark kind of values of how long it took us to get up the climb. I managed 51 minutes, 4 seconds, 339 watt average, 158 beats per minute.
So I was a little bit quicker than you, actually. 47 minutes, 22 seconds, 325 watt average, 160 beats. So fairly comparable, but I think I went a little bit quicker, so yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see if I can turn the tables now.
I'm a bit apprehensive.
So am I, but let's give it a go. You ready, mate?
Yeah, nice. May the best presenter win.
Yeah.
Well, you've dropped me already.
We're going to get competitive, aren't we? It always happens. Oh, here's the bottom.
Right, there it is. I'm going to press lap.
Okay, we're off. That's it. We're on the Alp. Approaching the first hairpin. 21 hairpins to go.
Oh, you started quick.
I know, I need to not get too excited here. So Alex, what's the highest you've ever been?
I don't think I've really been much over 2,000 meters, which is where we've started today. So pretty much this entire thing is going to be uncharted territory. Are you?
So I think I've been to around 2,700, 2,800 on Col de la Bonnette. This is the highest I've been on the bike. Also in a few races, so in the Giro we went to around 2,500 meters at the Cima Coppi, which is the highest point in the race.
Yeah.
in the gruppetto, obviously. And I remember,
Obviously.
I felt so bad, feeling so lightheaded, and you really just, it kind of amplifies your fatigue.
I'm intrigued to see how we go.
Yeah, 3,000 is going to be pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So now is a good time to introduce James from the Altitude Centre, who is not only monitoring our performance today, but making sure we don't do anything silly. So James, thanks for being with us. How does this all work? How does the chamber work? How high can we get in here?
Yeah, so we're currently at about 2,000 meters and we're going to take you up to 3,000 meters. And we do that just by reducing the amount of oxygen in here. So at sea level, 20.9% of the air that you breathe is oxygen. And in here at the moment, just over 16% is oxygen. And we're going to take that to just under 15% as we start to ramp it up.
Creepy already.
Wow, okay, and obviously our performance is going to dip quite a lot due to that. So myself and Alex, we did around 50 minutes for the Alp. Alex a bit faster than me. How much slower do you think we'll be?
It's very individual, but on average, we'd say probably about 10% difference in your performance, depending on your recent experiences at altitude, how much it affects you on the day, how you manage your effort as well. But about 10%, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It suits anyone in particular. Does the fact that I've got a bit more experience at altitude maybe weigh in my favour?
Yeah, I would say so. If you've got a little bit more experience at altitude, your body tends to remember being at altitude a little bit better, and you probably perform a little bit better if you've got some experience. But you'd want to put in a good altitude training block or be an altitude native to be really strong at altitude.
Okay, thanks James. I better save my breaths then for later on in the climb. Myself and Alex are still marking each other a bit on the lower slopes. Alex is putting a good dig on me early on, cheekily, while I was talking to James, and I had to reel him in. He went real deep. I tried to keep it steady, and I've just about caught him, but it's costing both of us. I'm struggling to talk.
Trying to get my breathing back under control after a little bit of silly antics at the start. To be fair, mostly my fault. Trying to settle in to a sensible rhythm now. Anyway, less talking, more breathing.
Alex is about 30 seconds up on me.
8.
And you see from my oxygen levels, I'm starting to scream out for a bit more air.
Yeah, absolutely. So every 10 minutes, we're just taking a measure on the finger of how much oxygen is in his blood. And for reference, the last couple of measures that we've taken, if you went to hospital with those measures, they'd give you extra oxygen to boost it. So we're at 84% at the moment, blood oxygen saturation. At sea level, we'd expect that to be up over 95%. So your muscles are deprived of oxygen, your brain's deprived of oxygen, and you're feeling that now, right? You're feeling that in your lungs. Heart rate's high, power's down compared to where your heart rate is. Makes life hard for you.
Yeah. Just for the power I'm riding at, if I push just a little bit, you just instantly feel your legs burn so much. I'm really digging deep. I'm on hairpin 4 on the Alp, and just try and do everything I can to bring Alex back. But even talking now is almost impossible.
Oh my God, it's getting hard.
Okay, it's about K to go. Alex has got about half a minute on me, really. So I left one more bow to fire.
400 meters to go. I still haven't given up.
Keep thinking, come on mate, come on. You can see the banner, let's finish it.
I've got nothing.
10 to go. Finish it off, last one bit. Come on, push. And quick, just watch it fresh.
10.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
It's definitely. Oh, that was awful.
Massive, mate. Absolutely massive. They are some of the biggest numbers I've seen in here for a long time. That was huge.
What's Conor got left?
Conor's
2.
absolutely smashed it. He's got just under a minute.
Oh, nice job, man. Why the hell did we ride so hard at the start? It's like... He's got a metre higher then. 3001.
You should go find a bed for him to lie on.
Okay. Oh, right, we're out of the chamber, back to sea level.
I'm only just recovering, I think.
So I was really on my limit.
Good job, though.
Really on my limit. It brought back memories of being in the Giro, just like that sprint to get onto the back of the gruppetto and try and survive when you're just hurting so badly.
But the main thing is, we got our stats recorded and we've got some pretty interesting results to go through. Shall I go first?
You go first.
So my Alpe du Zwift effort was 2 minutes and 8 seconds slower than what I did at sea level, but I was about 20 watts down on average power and my heart rate was about 12 beats a minute higher. So all in all, the altitude has had quite an impact on my performance.
It has, but you were still going so well in there, to be fair.
Well, it was just sheer terror of you catching me, to be honest. Yeah, but you did a good. I thought you were going to catch me at one point. But go on, what were your?
Well, I left a bit in the tank for the top, but yeah, I was actually a little bit faster, Alex.
Yeah, well, than the sea level.
Yeah, I was actually. So I went 20 seconds faster, 1 watt more power.
Yeah.
So I was 340 watt average. My heart rate was higher though, so 160 beats per minute average.
Okay, yeah.
I think that comes with a caveat. I think the competition really helped me because I was desperate to beat you. Also, I actually did my sea level attempt in a really high heat.
Yeah.
And I think that actually took its toll too. So typical GCN does science.
Yeah.
But still, I think when I really tried to bring you back, you were only 30 seconds ahead of me. I gave it everything I could, went max watts, heart rate just went through the roof, and my legs were just burning. I could not go any.
I felt I was quite in control for most of our effort, but then I heard the guys say we were at 3,000 meters, and I thought I was managing it well, and then all of a sudden the like lactate and everything just compounded more and more, and I could see you guys watching us, and I was like, oh, they can see we're starting to struggle now.
Yeah, it's just in your lungs. You're like, you just don't feel you're getting a full breath.
No,
and it's just you straight away. You're just like kind of.
But by the end, I was in real trouble.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw. Like from what you were saying, your heart rate was up for the power that you were doing. Okay, Conor, you were pretty similar, but just struggling so much more. I think subjectively, you just found it so much harder, and you could hear how hard you were having to breathe, and that's just all because of the lack of oxygen in there. There's less oxygen in the room. There's so much less oxygen in your blood as well. I mean, if you guys were in hospital presenting with that sort of blood oxygen saturation, there'd be some very unhappy doctors at that point. That's for sure. So. I mean, at sea level, we'd expect your blood oxygen saturation, and actually, when we checked it just now, your blood oxygen saturation was 98%, something like that.
So that's in normal conditions. Whereas, even just standing in the chamber, we'd sort of been a couple of minutes after our effort, I was still down at like 81%, which is pretty low. So coming back out again, we were out here for 10 minutes before it really brought the oxygen level back up.
And you think about what that means in your body. It means that your muscles are getting less oxygen for work, but also your brain is getting less oxygen as well, and your brain is really oxygen hungry. And you don't really think about that, but that's one of the key things for your performance as well.
That's a good point, actually, because at the end of our effort, like your body is just almost sort of on autopilot. I was just riding as hard as I could. There was no thought process on like body style, pedaling technique, breathing. It just everything went out the window.
It just goes to show, I think, when you ride on Zwift as well, that it's different for everyone. Obviously, everyone can ride together on Zwift, but we're all in different locations around the world and different altitudes. So if you do pass someone and you feel good about yourself, maybe they're up in Colombia at 2,000 meters.
That's a good point, actually, because Well, Zwift is about racing, but you've got things like the Zwift World Championships, even like the virtual Tour de France there was. Everyone's at different altitudes, so it is going to have an impact on the results, and it's just some sort of interesting topics to consider, isn't it?
For you anyway, 2 minutes slower.
Yeah, well, 2 minutes slower, so I better race at sea level.
Anyway, that isn't all we've got planned for today, Alex.
Oh God, we've got an extra thing as
Yeah,
well.
do you remember?
Oh.
I did tell you earlier.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, James has got some real torture for us now.
What have we got lined up, James?
We're going to take you back into the chamber, but we're going to crank the altitude up even further to replicate the highest road in the world.
What, are we going to 5,000 metres or something?
Yeah.
5,500. Which is, I don't think about it
So
yet.
we're going to have to wear the masks to simulate
Yeah, exactly.
that.
So we're going to use an altitude generator. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a small machine that's taking air from the room, reducing the amount of oxygen in it even further, feeding that air through a tube, and you then breathe that through a mask.
And then you're obviously going to monitor us carefully.
Very
Make sure we're safe.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you reckon? Listen, we're not going to get very far, are we?
Well, according to Nick and James, they don't even think we're going to manage over 100 watts here.
Yeah. So we're going to ride until our oxygen levels drop below 75%, because then it's deemed not safe to carry on.
Yeah, so that's the rule. So we're going to have to start really easy.
3, 2, 1, off you go. Yeah, so we're recording the blood oxygen saturation, which is the amount of oxygen that they have in their blood at any given time. And already, even after 30 seconds, that's dropped down to 85% for Conor. And just for reference, anything over 95% at sea level will be normal. And we're going to pull the test when they get to 75%. So it's a test of who can last the longest before getting to 75%.
So Alex is sitting down at 82, 83%. Heart rate's up at about 130. Average power's about 150. So we're looking at almost heart rate and what's been nearly identical here. But we're getting close now. Take a couple of deep breaths, mate. And that is Alex all done, I'm afraid. Alex is all done. Drop down to 71. So you can see
That's a
coming off
win
his
for the day.
finger there, 71, 132. So what we'll do is we'll pop Alex off the mask and let him have a little bit of recovery. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pop that on, mate, and what you'll see now is you've gone from 5,500 metres back down to 2,700 where our chamber is, and you'll see exactly now. Like, so you were down at 71 when the test ended, up at 75, 76 already. Power stayed the same.
I went so lightheaded straight away.
Yeah. I think you described it as having like a gin and tonic, and you're exactly right.
I got about 4 gin and
Yeah.
tonics at once.
It shoots up. I know, I'm impressed, I must say. He's a bit of a machine over there, isn't he?
Where's Conor at?
So Conor's currently 81%. He has dipped to 80, but he's doing really nicely. Yeah, looking really good, Conor.
Come on, mate,
Sexy
dig in, come on.
stuff. Yeah, so Conor is absolutely smashing it at the moment. He has just rolled through 10 minutes at 5,500 meters, and he's riding at some good power as well, sort of between 200 and 280 watts, kind of fluctuating a little bit, but his blood oxygen saturation is sitting in the low 80s, which is absolutely awesome. We've not really seen anyone respond like this to altitude before, so really impressed, to be fair. We haven't really had many people get to this sort of altitude and be able to tolerate it for this long, is the honest answer. But just again, from that safety point of view, we don't really want you at 5,500 meters for too long. So we'll give it another minute from here. Your blood oxygen saturation is still looking good, but you're starting to feel it. You're starting to breathe a little bit more deeply. You're saying possibly just starting to feel a little bit lightheaded as well.
That's insane.
Alright, so I'm just going to get you to stop there because that's 15 minutes now on the mask. So if you want to take the mask off as well.
I've never seen anybody.
Right, I'll start us off with what we got here, because Conor has done incredible, to be honest. So I didn't last anywhere near as long as Conor. So at our altitude of 5,530 meters or wherever we were at, I only lasted 2 minutes, 20 seconds. before my oxygen saturation dropped below a safe level. And I didn't even get to ride very hard. So I did 2 minutes 20 and about 150 watts. So power that literally anyone could replicate and achieve. Conor, on the other hand, has pretty much defied the odds for nearly all of it.
Yeah.
You've managed well over 10 minutes.
So I managed it 15 minutes and I got to 2.2K.
I mean, your legs are still shaking, mate.
And then my power was way down. I mean, I was at like 200 watts.
Yeah, but I was watching at the end, you still hit 400 watts at one point.
I gave it a little dig just to see how hard I could go, but it's like, well, it took its toll. I'm just shaking. And
I mean, Nick and James were saying the performance you did at altitude is sort of like pretty much never seen.
Yeah.
And it probably explains why the performance difference between us at our 2,000 to 3,000 meters with Alpe du Zwift race, you close in so much because your body obviously reacts so differently to altitude to mine, whereas it has a far bigger impact on me.
I mean, it's because I'm 2 meters 4, isn't it? I've just spent my whole life at altitude. So I think that's the reason. But
good job that you've done incredible there.
I enjoyed that actually. It took its toll on me. I think I just felt it in my legs when I was trying to ride.
I didn't even make the first hairpin on Alpe du Zwift, and you made 1, 2, 3, nearly the fifth.
17 hairpins. I got to 17 hairpins to go. So yeah, I think that's four hairpins in. I feel giddy actually after that effort. I'm not really in the room. I felt like I was getting the giggles, and I just couldn't feel myself. It was a weird sensation.
I just felt drunk immediately.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've recovered, we've had a shower, and we've come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, so right, what have we learned today? Effectively, we've learned that altitude has a big impact on your performance on the bike when you're riding Zwift. And we've also learned that altitude has far less impact on you than what it does to me and most other normal people.
Yeah, I think I've learned that I should have been a basketball player living in Nepal and I'd have maybe had a bit of a different life. But thank you to the Altitude Centre for giving us this unique experience. It was just so interesting, I think, to find out how we performed and our kind of individual differences.
It was really good. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. And why not let us know in the comments section down below what elevation you live at and ride Zwift at. I'm intrigued to hear what everyone has to say.
Yeah, thanks for watching everyone. See you on the next video with more oxygen, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.